Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Hi, Roxy. For live today, we are going to be making a pumpkin trivet, so I'm really excited about that. We'll give it some time for more people to get on. Hi, Linda. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Linda. Hi, Ann. Hi, Jeanette. So I am in the Littleton store today. Nancy, you'll have to come see me on Mondays because I'm here on Mondays. Hi, Rosemary. Hi, Terry. Fat fingers. So just a couple of announcements and then we're going to get started because we do have a Stitch Happy project. So my only announcement for you today is that we have extended the free shipping on orders $50 or more for the rest of the week. So for this week, that is still applying to the online orders. We are doing again $50 and up free shipping on those online orders. So we've seen some pictures of Kate and Patrick and their spouses, and they're having a wonderful time. I have told many people that I am very surprised that I didn't figure out how to contort my body and fit myself into a Bernina luggage and send myself there. I could have probably surprised both of them. Now, if I would have survived the trip, that's another question. Cats are still away, Birdie. Melody, we'll get you an update on Mystery 54. Oh, I guess there is another announcement. For those local customers, I guess it applies to everyone really. If you're calling, if you're visiting our stores, for today, we are experiencing some issues with our credit card terminals. Cindy and I think both have been on the phone on hold for 3 hours. So our credit card terminal is down, but we are in the process of trying to get that resolved. Oh, Karen. Hi, Kim. Hi, Val. Okay, so I have just a few things. For today, we are going to be making, yes. I did not know that, Ann. How would that happen? How would you fit your kids through in the mail? How would they be okay? Okay, so Kate and Patrick are going to be back at the end of the month. Hi, Caroline. Okay, so we are going to be making this in the hoop chunky pumpkin trivet. And the next items I'm going to show you are going to be in reverse. So just keep that in mind. Although we have talked about these numerous times, the items that will be used for today is the Clover Roll and Press, a fabric folding pen, and the Kimberbell paper tape. We do have kits available, and they will make one trivet. It has everything you need in there to make one trivet, and it is $8.99. So, Baby Lock Club is going to be this Wednesday. I will be sending out the invites for that with the handouts tomorrow. And Cindy and I are going to be doing it, which we're both really excited about it. I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe Cindy and I should pretend to be Patrick. One of us wear a watermelon shirt and the other talk in a British accent. I mean, I think it would be pretty fun. Okay, so today's design is from Juju, and on the events calendar for today's date, I have put that as a link. Also, if you visit our website and order a kit online, there's a link there as well for you to download the design. The design does cost $3.20. $3.60. One or the two. So, again, a very reasonable price for such a cute design. You do get it in just one size. I am going to be using a 8x8 hoop. And because, as I said, this is a stitch crazy project, I did do some of it in advance. Not too much, but just a little bit, just so that we're not sitting around and waiting for stitching to happen. So I have my 8x8 hoop. I have tearaway stabilizer, and I am doing it slightly different compared to the way that the instructions are saying to do it in the for the instructions for Juju. So the instructions for Juju tells you to hoop your batting. Yes, ma'am. Hold, please. Should be interesting. Baby Lock Club. Birdie, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna practice my British accent in a watermelon shirt. And then Cindy and I can rock, paper, scissors on who gets what. Hi, Lisa. Okay, so the instructions tell you to hoop your hoop with batting. And then you're going to stitch the placement line onto the batting, directly onto the batting. So I'm using stabilizer, and then I did my placement line onto my stabilizer. I backed it up a step, and I completed that again on my batting. So we'll go over that. Bye. It was good to see you.
It was wonderful to see you.
It's wonderful to see you. Yeah, me too. Thank you. Okay. Okay, day. All right, so we're going to go into embroidery. We're going to go to our memory pocket. Oops. Okay, so we're going into embroidery. And the very first step is it's going to stitch the placement onto the batting. So your A and B, C and D are going to be your border pieces, and they're put on there because of the way the instructions are. Thank you, Lisa. So what I did is I stitched this directly on top of my tearaway stabilizer, and then I backed it up a step to go back to this step and stitched it directly on top of my batting. My next step is to stitch my inner square, and that is where you're going to, at that point, you're going to place your background fabric, which is this really nice fallish cream, and you place it over that square. And then machine step number 2 is going to tack it in place with a square, and then machine step 3 is going to do the quilting. So that's exactly where we are right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my brown thread in, because that's going to be the first thread that actually makes a difference. It's the first one that's going to be noticeable. So up until a little bit later, you're going to have a whole bunch of applique stitches, and then it's going to, oh, thank you, Patty. You're the happiest person I know. So it's going to be applique stitches. It's going to just stitch down the fabric. We'll trim it away. And then after we get all of our pumpkins stacked and trimmed, it's going to do this decorative stitch in this brown color. So I'm just going to start with that in my machine. And I almost went to the quilting. Okay, so the very first thing on this is machine step 4. If you look at the pattern, the instructions, your fabric pieces are actually going to have 3 different fabrics for each pumpkin. I opted to just do 1 fabric for each pumpkin. My main reason is because I didn't find a lot of fabrics that I thought blended well together. And I think that it's cute enough to just get by. Julie, I am pretty positive that we are a little short on the fabric for this, so I would have to make sure that I don't need to cut any more kits. But if you would like, you can just put on there how much yardage you want. I'll take a screenshot of it and I will do my best to get you accommodated. And also, for those of you who are not aware, we are no longer going to be doing the ordering through comments. So we do appreciate it if you can go onto our website, which is aboveandbeyondsewing.com, and then you can go to Facebook products, you can go to today's products, and order through there. But if there's anything odd, then we will write down the rest. Okay, so I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I'm going to put this fabric down and cover that area completely. The next stitch is going to stitch the fabric in place. Okay, so while that's stitching, I'll show you on theirs. They have an assortment of orange fabrics for their pumpkins. If you wanted to, you could definitely place these fabrics fussily and use the 3 orange fabrics I've included in the kit to get them to make a different segment of each pumpkin if you'd like. Or you can do as I'm doing and make each pumpkin one color. So then we're going to advance to the next step. And this is going to be the placement line for the inside of our largest pumpkin. Next on the machine step 7, it's going to have the tack down stitch. So I'm going to bypass that. And I am going to trim away my excess. All right, so the next step is going to be the placement line for the next fabric. How was everyone's weekend? We had a lot of rain. All right, next I'm going to place the next piece of the pumpkin fabric, and we're going to tuck it in place. Have a good one. Doing Facebook Live. Have a good one. I'm so excited about the change in weather. All right, next we're going to stitch the inside of our pumpkin. That sounds like fun, Sybil. We'll trim away the excess. All right, then next we're going to skip ahead, and we've come unthreaded. And we're going to stitch our placement line for the last pumpkin. We're getting excited too, Melinda. And earlier somebody did ask if we're going to be using Insel Bright, and we are, just in a later step. Yes, Julie, Elaine sent me some pictures, but I am going to have to get some pictures from Mo because my photos I received are all fuzzy and you can't really see anything in them. But we had the jelly roll race in our Littleton store this last Saturday, and I'll be posting some pictures of those later.
This just in, it'll be coming soon. I'm working on it now.
This just in?
The jelly roll.
Jelly roll pictures coming soon. From Momo. All right, we're going to trim. All right, so next up, it's going to do the, I know, Elaine, I think it's just because I have a Samsung and you have a iPhone. It happens with anybody who has an iPhone and sends me pictures. So it's just one of those things, but we can work around it. It would be pretty cute on a towel. Okay, so in this brown color, we are going to stitch the frilly doodads. These guys. You know, I think with it being 2024, the fact that the iPhones and Samsungs, when it comes to how the pictures get sent to each other, they're just not clear all the time. But I went to a concert this summer with my mom, and we were sending each other pictures, and both of us were like, our pictures are blurry to each other. Just me, Mary. I guess I could show you. This is my camera buddy, Stan the Stand. I'm gonna put a face on him. Hi, Phyllis. So today we are making the Chunky Pumpkin Trio Potholder. The design is from Juju. The link is available on our website to go and purchase the design. It is under $5. And we have kits available that will make one trivet for $8.99. All right, so next up we are going to put our green thread in, and it's going to do our leaves. Melody, I think you're probably in the mood for Halloween movies. Karen, I don't know the answer to that, but I can definitely look into it for you, and I can let you know what I find out. It's very true. He's not very funny. Lisa, the design is from Juju. I do too, Phyllis. I like the doodads. It did look like they had a good time in the Jelly Roll class. We are doing it in the Thornton store tomorrow. Very excited about that. Wish you could too, Patty. Doodads. Thingamabobbers. Thingamajigs. Absolutely, Elaine. Patty, are you gonna come see us? Patty, you have me confused. Put the die cut on the shelf? All right, one more leaf after this. Okay, Patty. Okay, next up we're going to put our brown back in. The one that we used previously on the thingamabobs, the swirly majiggers. And we're going to do the stem of the pumpkin. But you could also make this as a gift for somebody. You could put on, if you know somebody with a 3-letter name, you could do first name or first letter, second letter, third letter, or here, or family initials here. Curly cues. The doodads. All right, then we are going to get our first pumpkin's satin stitch. Oh, and maybe put pick me, like pick me because I'm the cutest pumpkin in the pumpkin patch. I don't think so, Val. We would normally send it down here for you to pick up, but I would be happy to check. Did you get a call from someone up there? Now it's going to stop and prompt us to change our thread because this fabric would have been different, but we used the same. So I'm just going to keep going with that thread. This year has just gone by so fast. Crazy to think that it's almost October. Val, where did you move to? Val, we could pretty much be neighbors. I live in Dacono. I don't want him to go faster, Anne. I want him to slow down. Life goes by too fast. Val, we have so much to catch up on. Alrighty. And then we're going to change to our next pumpkin. Our next pumpkin. Lisa, I think this would be fine as a shirt project. You just need to make sure that you stabilize it correctly. Linda. Oops. Keep on with the same color for that inside. Sophie, yes, this is a Juju design. It is the Chunky Stacked Chunky Pumpkin Trio Potholder. And we have kits available for $8.99. I do too, Mary. Yeah, definitely. Everything else, I would say, because of the way that this is stitched out. Let me see if I can. So you have 2 sunflowers that come from here. So you could definitely figure out a way to plan it nicely, but you can still do the sunflower here and the sunflower here and still keep the leaves, these 2 leaves, and just bypass this, but that would just be by advancing your machine in your stitches. Okay, then our last pumpkin. yeah, you could make this as a gift to give to whoever's hosting Thanksgiving. I see that, Joy. I can see it. Okay, so now we're going to change our thread to the yellow and do our sunflowers. How was your guys' anniversary, Lisa? So for those of you who don't know, Lisa Schwartz and I have the same birthday, and we have the same wedding anniversary. Not to each other, of course. Our anniversary, we were going to go out and eat dinner, but Lily ended up getting sick and was sick all weekend, so we were right where we needed to be with little Miss Lilybug. I do too, Pat. Uh-oh, Evelyn, you better get something sweet and quickly. I will, Sherry. All right, next we're going to change to a darker brown to do the center of our sunflowers. Alrighty. So next I am going to put a orange thread in the machine, and this one blends a little bit better with the border and the backing fabrics. And then now that all of our main embroidery in our potholder is done, I am going to trim the excess of our background fabric. Okay, so the next step is going to stitch a placement line. And in your kits, you have 4 pieces of your border fabric. You have 2 that are shorter and 2 that are longer. And I think it's a little obvious that we're going to start with the shorter sides. And then what we're going to do is we're going to place the edge of our pumpkin border fabric right side down, and we're going to line it up with the edge of our background fabric. All right, and then we're going to take this and fold it up, and I left my fabric folding pen, so I'm just going to use a finger press. And then the next stitch is going to stitch this in place. And now we're going to do the same thing for the bottom. Stitch our placement line. And then we're going to do the same. Right sides down, we're going to align this with the edge of our background fabric and tack it in place. All right, we're going to fold this down All right, so next what we're going to do is trim and we'll return the hoop. And now it's going to stitch the placement lines for our D and C parts. If we're threaded, that is. I lied to you. It's doing the decorative stitch. The decorative stitch on the border fabrics. It is, Julie. We have it in the store if you want some. I am, Linda. Probably, Julie. Okay, so now we're going to go over to our C side, and it's going to do that placement stitch for our other piece of border. And then just as the others, we're going to line it up with the edge of our border fabric. Right sides together and stitch it in place. On this one, Patty? All right. We're going to fold it to the left. And stitch it in place. Gonna do that for the D side. Well, I do know that they got done eating dinner a little bit ago. Cheryl, the design is from Juju. So a lot of fall television shows are coming back. Grey's Anatomy starts this Thursday. I have a hot date with my grandma. And we're going to push it. Me too. A lot of people, when they bring up Grey's, that I'm so excited that it's coming back, they're like, that show is still on? All right, now it's going to do the 2 decorative stitches on the C and D side. Chicago Fire. Hi, Grandma. Looking forward to our date too. I love Fire Country Donna. I want him and Gabriella to be together forever. Okay, so the next stitch is going to be a placement stitch for our ribbon. And then what we are going to do is we want our ribbon to be like this, hanging off of our trivet. So we are going to place it. We're going to flip it this way, and we're going to tape it in place. Oh, man. The next stitch is going to stitch it down. Ooh, tracker is good. I kind of forgot about that one. I'm still mourning This Is Us. Okay, so then what I'm going to do, because it's kind of a pain in the tush afterwards, is I'm going to remove the tape from the corner here, because after you flip it, it's kind of hard. But I'm going to just tape my ribbon down to make sure that I'm stuttering, that it doesn't shift on me. Okay, so then we're going to turn our hoop to the wrong side. And we're going to get a piece of our hot stuff. Man, I'm drawing a blank. Hey guys, what is this called?
What is it?
The stuff you put in Insulbright. I did it. And then we are going to tape it down on the corners. All right. So now with this step, we are going to attach the Insulbright to our project. With our ribbon being out like this and exposed, just keep an eye. You do have the ability to slow down your machine. They're not off, Linda. Thank you, Rosie. Okay, so now we're going to trim the excess away of the Insulbright. Okay, so now what we are going to do is you have two pieces of backing material. One piece you're gonna fold in half hot dog style, and you're going to make sure that your folded side is in towards your project, raw edges towards the top of your hoop. And then you are also going to place a piece, which in the directions they don't tell you to fold over. They're telling you to just lay this fabric right side down. But I don't like that you see a folded edge. So I took the extra step to fold it over and just top stitch. That way you don't see any raw edges anywhere on your project. And then we can use some of our leftover tape on our sides here where the two fabrics are meeting. And we're going to stitch them in place. Oh. See? Evelyn, Yvette no longer works at the store. So what you could do is you could press and hold your start and stop button, and the machine goes really nice and slow. That way, you can make sure that your fabric doesn't get caught. I mean, it does look a little dark, but all the lights are on. All right, so I'm going to remove our tape. All right, come with me if you want to live. All right, so then I'm going to trim 1/4 inch from my stitched line. All right, and then I'm going to use pinking shears, or at least I think I'm going to, on the corners. All right, and then we're going to flip it. And then you can give it a good press. So our first flip leaves our pumpkin trivet looking like so. And then we will flip again. And then we have our trivet. All right, so again, we have this design from the Juju website. We have it linked to our events calendar under today's date. and it is around $3. And then we do have kits available for $8.99, and it will make one trivet. So I appreciate you guys, and I hope you have a lovely day, and we'll see you again. Yes, Lisa, all of the instructions are going to be provided for you from Juju in the purchase of your design. However, I did things just a little bit different. Instead of hooping my batting and stitching directly on top of my batting, I used stabilizer and I placed the batting in there. So I did a few things just a little bit different. All right, so thank you guys. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.